Hello, podcast lovers. So glad that you joined us for this episode of JJ Meets World. If it's your first one, relax. We're all friends here. Sit back. I hope you're really interested in the vibe that we put out today because we're going to talk about sports. JJ Meets World. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. J.J. Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is. He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. J.J. has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirled as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called JJ Meets World.
Nice.
I also have a probiotic soda, but that's for me.
A probiotic soda?
Yeah, it's regular. It's because it tastes great. It's fruit punch. Love fruit punch.
All right, so JJ, let me tell you why you gave me a bunch of soda options and I picked Diet Coke.
Tell me.
And I'm a Pepsi guy.
You are a Pepsi guy through and through.
But right before you offered me so generously the soda, you gave me these Summer Harvest brand snack mix that you get on an airplane.
Yeah, so specifically, I was on a Delta flight recently, and this is what they gave out. And I'm like, this is delicious. It's got a honey sesame stick, a cheddar corn stick, mini pretzel twist. It's both sweet and savory.
Right.
And I loved it so much that when I got off the flight, I was like, I really want more of this snack mix. So I contacted Delta, and they sent me around to people, and eventually they said, you need to get a hold of the King Nut Company. That's who we buy these from. I contacted King Nut, and they said, yeah, we'd be more than happy to send you out, like, essentially the same thing that we give Delta, but it's in a different container because theirs says Delta. Yours will just say Summer Harvest Mix. And I had to order 300 of these little packages at minimum, but I think I made a good investment.
Yeah, you did. And the reason I went with a Diet Coke is because Diet Coke is my airplane drink.
Really?
I only ever, except for now, drink Diet Coke on an airplane because typically there's not many options. It's Diet Coke, sarsaparilla, which I usually don't want. Or not, what am I saying?
What kind of flight are you on where they're offering sarsaparilla?
Ginger ale. That's what I meant to say. And the word sarsaparilla came out instead.
Like Cowboys Choice Airlines?
Yeah. Beans.
The Pony Express of
Does
the
anyone
sky?
want a can of beans? Yeah, you can't have a fire in this guy.
Okay.
So I'm having that with this.
That being said, wouldn't it be nice if airlines leaned into ultra-themed ideas behind their flights? Like, if you were to get on and, like, all of the flight attendants wore bonnets and, like...
I would just trade that for bigger seats.
Nope. I want a theme experience. I want the Old West... I want Old West Airlines.
How clean is your carpet?
I mean,
I'm not going to eat that one.
Like, I was going to say, like, we just had it shampooed, but I wouldn't eat it.
I don't like that pause that came before.
Well, I was also worried. I was like, did you just mash something into my carpet? Like, am I going to have to vacuum in here now?
No, nothing you can see.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter if I see it or not. That's how you get mice.
Just get a dog in here.
I'm not bringing a dog in here.
I don't know why you guys aren't doing that. That's the latest thing.
We have two dogs in the building already.
No, you lock them in overnight. So they're like a Roomba, but dogs. And then they just roam.
It's a very junkyard situation.
They just roam the office building and lick the carpets.
Okay, now that you've had a chance to enjoy some of these, what are your favorite parts? Is it the mini pretzel twist? Is it the cheddar corn stick? Or is it the honey sesame stick?
Mine is an uneven bag. It's almost entirely pretzels.
Yeah, they're heavy on pretzels.
Yeah, clearly that's the filler. I'd say the honey sesame stick.
It's my favorite too. Mm-hmm. Look at us, we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, my water department bill came in. Should I tell you how much it is? I mean, do you have any idea like what your water department bill is on a month? Like on average?
Excuse me. The landlord takes care of that one.
Oh, does he?
I want to say it's I'm just going to throw a number out there, and you're either going to go, oh, that seems right, or you're going to go, dude, that's insane. You've never looked at a water bill. I'll be like, yeah, you're right. 60?
Mine's 70.
Okay.
You know, I have, 2 more bathrooms than you do? So that makes sense.
Yeah, but they're not all being flushed all the time. The 2 people who live in your house spread your poops around those different bathrooms.
Well, you have a higher water need than a regular human being because you have so many fish.
Yeah, I do drink a lot of water too. But I guess I don't know. But here's the thing. That house is not built like efficiently. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's all sorts of like...
So it's leaks and things like that?
Who knows, you know?
I mean, it also covers your sewer. Like, what I tell people is this. Your water bill is not just the water that you're bringing in. It's also the water you're sending out.
I'm honestly not using that much water for the fish because... So I've got the 75-gallon tank, and that only gets topped off maybe every 2 weeks with about 5 gallons of water. I'm not taking stuff out of it, so I would say that tank, basically like every week, it's taking like 2 gallons maybe.
Okay. Would you like to know something that someone complained about me on my show recently?
Like, okay, when you say on your show... Do you mean they were on your show and complained about you, or they complained about you while you were on your show?
They complained about me while I was on my show.
Okay.
They said something that they could not handle, that enraged them so much that they...
You said something.
I said something that they called and had to write it. Now, I was on the air still talking to, like covering my show, and my producer took the call. And... he said, okay, well, first of all, I was talking...
This is the caller?
Well, no, I didn't actually talk to the caller, but my producer did, and his eyes kind of went wide. He's like, okay, yeah, 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 okay. I will tell him. That's how this conversation ended. And I'm like, oh, interesting. So we get to a break, and I was like, what was that? And he goes, well, this guy called, and he was very mad at you because I incorrectly said I was talking about the water treatment plant in North Fargo. And he was incensed because he says the water treatment plant is in South Fargo. The Fargo sewage water facility, or the Fargo sewage water treatment facility is in North Fargo, and he was pissed, and he wanted me to have a retraction on air. And so I had a fill-in co-host that day.
Oh, did you double down? I would have doubled down.
So, well, off air, because sometimes you don't want to give that flame oxygen, right?
No, like you're right. It's easy for me to just
right. I mean, but here's the thing. So I made the comment off air to the people in the studio, this co-host who was there for the day, and then my producer, and I said, what's funny is he called to make such a big deal about how it's not the Fargo water treatment plant, it's the Fargo sewage plant. And I said, I'll bet you it's not even called the sewage plant, right? And it's not. So, like, I thought this is where I would have been. This is where it would have been kind of like a little petulant child, where I would have been like, we just had a caller who corrected me that it is not the Fargo water treatment plant, but they said it was the sewage plant, and it's not the sewage plant either. So they're equally wrong. And so I would say this. I was like, in North Fargo, they have the Fargo Regional Water Reclamation Facility. And so
water reclamation,
right?
The renunciation of the euchre or whatever. It sounds like a church.
Yeah, like welcome to the water reclamation facility.
I think that's what
leave your sins in the basin.
That's what happens once the AI apocalypse wipes everything out with nuclear bombs. And as people are like bringing things back, they find like a sign that had been newly printed at the time, but they hadn't. That calls it the water reclamation. And that starts their new religion, but it's like a cargo cult, but it's a potty cult.
I like that. I like that a lot. In fact, I like that so much that I think we should bring that together.
Yeah.
Do you? What's the best way of saying this? Do you remember when we would be at the Performing Arts School Trollwood, and it was a hot day, and the wind came in just right from the water reclamation facility, and it smelled like you were inside of a hot toilet.
Yep. I remember the days when you could access Trollwood
From that road, from Broadway?
That road. Yeah, from before. But then when they just said there was too much erosion, right, was going on, so they just wanted to lock it down. Even though I think it's still technically drivable now. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it for a while. Mm-hmm. But it's painful to go back to Trollwood Park now, for me. Just because the buildings are gone, all of those things are gone. And even though it's a lovely place to go. But yeah.
I don't like going up there because I don't care for frolfers, and that's a frolf course now. And I like there's something about how they carry the discs in the back of their car all the time. They're always ready to frolf.
Remember when frolf was the pickleball?
Yeah,
like when that was like everyone is doing this, and then there's still some people doing it.
And like I feel like the frolfers were always like we get it, no one likes us. That's why we bring all of our own equipment, just set it up in a field. And then once they got permanent facilities, people were like, this is lame.
I love how much money do you think has been invested locally in the past couple of years in pickleball courts?
Oh, I think over $10 million easily.
Easy.
Nationwide, it's in the billions. The billions with a B, because this is one of the fastest growing sports. People from high school age all the way through like their 80s are playing pickleball. They're like for example, someone from Fargo Parks was recently telling me that like we went from building 10 pickleball courts to deciding to build 20, and that already isn't big enough. And so it's outgrowing its need. Private industry is now getting into pickleball. Like, here's the thing. How many private baseball fields are available to be checked out?
Sure.
Right?
I don't know.
Minimal, right?
Right.
Because private industry is like, it's not worth it. Tennis courts, sure. Some country clubs have got, private tennis courts and things like that. But pickleball courts? I mean, heck, they just turned an old grocery store into a pickleball indoor warehouse.
And am I correct in saying it's essentially a lower impact form of tennis?
I think that a pickleball player would be like, it's not tennis.
I know it's not tennis.
But, like, they don't even like that comparison because if you're good at tennis, if you're great at tennis, you're not necessarily good at pickleball. I believe it's closer to racquetball, but it's less intense. You still have the competitive edge, but you don't have the, it's not quite as fast.
What's the big differentiator then? Like what really, I mean, obviously you're going to have a certain racket and ball now.
Mm-hmm. It's paddle, not to be that dick, but paddle. Like I will.
That's okay. There. You can correct me. I'm learning.
It's the Fargo sewage plant.
I am so anti-pickles that I've never learned about pickleball.
Oh yeah.
So I need to change that.
It'd be like if there's a thing called like mustard bikinis. I'd be like, better not wear it. Not around me.
Someone tweeted at me and said Tucker #be better, and I was like, you're right.
Mm-hmm. What do they still call it? Tweets, or do they call it like someone X'd me?
Oh shoot!
Someone crossed me? That's what it is.
My references are out now.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah,
you belong on a pickleball court.
I do
at this point.
Yeah, but even that doesn't sound good.
I definitely am the type of person who I've played pickleball 3 times, and I've made the mistake of engaging people about pickleball. And I mean,
it's like Bitcoin.
Yes, it is like Bitcoin.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, to understand cryptocurrency, you really need to understand where we were in the 1980s.
Oh god, can you imagine like you're learning pickleball for the first time, and like the pickleball court right next to you, it's a bunch of like rich neckbeards talking about Bitcoin. You're like, I hate pickleball.
And they're all drinking.
They're
all drinking Celsius.
Can the pickleball, not field court, be reused for other sports?
Nope.
Nothing else.
It's differently sized. So like, it would be great if they invented this game and it was the same as like tennis, right? So you could use a tennis court to play tennis, or you could play pickleball. It is a totally different size court.
What is functionally different? Is it just a smaller court?
It's a smaller court. The ball itself, it doesn't travel as fast.
Okay.
Like it's not like a fuzzy,
like a tennis ball can really go
right, but not a pickleball, right?
Got it.
The paddle itself isn't stringed. It's a flat paddle, and so because of that, the amount of like even if you hit it as hard as you can, it's not going quite as far. Because it's a smaller court, you can play doubles easily, or you can play singles. Whereas,
Okay.
like on a tennis court, you're really huffing back and forth if you're really working that whole court.
And
right?
do you just need to get it over the net but within bounds?
No, I think it's got to go into like one side versus the other side.
Okay.
When I played pickleball, my whole thing was like, I'm just gonna make sure it gets back to you.
Sure.
That's my whole
Sure.
thing. I've had some pickleball conversations from people who are passionate about it. Here's the thing, it is like it's like a cult because they don't just want to tell you about pickleball. They want you to come to the pickleball court. They
Right.
want to show you. They want to introduce you to their pickle pals. And
Do they call them that?
If not, they should be. This is such a big thing that a scientist in Florida has been working on a way to dampen the sound, because like the official sound of pickleball is plock, 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 plock. That's the sound of the pickleball ball hitting the pickleball paddle with your pickleball pals. So there's a scientist in Florida who's working on a way to dampen that sound, because so many pickleball courts have gone up and so many like retirement communities have put them in, that people say the sound itself is killing them. So like if you have a condo at, like Shady Estates, and all you're hearing is plock, 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 from the moment that the sun crests over the horizon until it sleeps at night, all day long, plock, 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 plock. So the scientist is working on a way to dampen it, the sound of it, and including like figuring out where it is in the register, so that if you were to put like a special film on the outside of your windows, it would be formulated to block this specific type of sound that can come in.
Wait, it's a window film that can discriminate a specific type
like
of sound?
like that part of the frequency of sound,
like the plosive or whatever that's coming from it?
It's specifically made to like
Wow.
keep that sound from. Now, of course, it'll dampen other sounds as well, right? But this one is specific towards like you're aiming for this. So whatever the molecular makeup has to be,
Right.
Whether there's more space between atoms or less, I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah. That's
know?
wild.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Do you do you ever think that like you should have gotten into at least one sport?
I should have just been more physically active.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that like I'm dead. I'm not dead. I should be just more physically active. And I think probably had I found a sport, gamify being active, that would have been really, really nice. But there's not much that really draws my attention. I mean, when I was a kid, I was in soccer, but I was awful. It was my parents. My parents like, you got to be in something, and all my friends were in soccer, and so great, I was in soccer. I had one good game in all 7 years of doing it. I remember it distinctly. I remember thinking like, am I good at soccer now? And then the next week and finding out, no, you still suck. You just had like a really lucky great game, like all of a sudden. But I don't know. I don't even know what I would say I wish I liked, right? Like, oh yeah, I wish I was doing this routinely, because I do love, I love parallel play, right? Like I love hanging out with friends, but kind of going at my own pace versus like having to compete unless it's really lay back and friendly. Like I'm even going to lump it. This is not a sport, but it's a diversion that's sport adjacent, like putt golf.
Okay.
Right? You're just out in the sun walking around. You're not doing anything strenuous whatsoever. Or just going for walks. I love going for walks.
When I was in 6th grade, my dad forced me to play intramural basketball.
Oof.
And I wasn't good enough to get on one of the traveling teams, so we only played at Agassiz Middle School. And I remember the moment we bargained with this, where he's like, hey, bud, I want you to play basketball. You're tall. You could be really good at it, and I think it'd be good for you. And you can be part of a team. And I was like, yeah, none of that appeals to me. And I was like, I do really, really well playing video games. Like, why should I have to go and be on a team? And he goes, well, here's the thing. You're gonna try it. You're gonna try it. And I remember we were sitting in the living room, and he was in his red armchair, and I was on the couch, and I was like, we go for pizza every single game. That was stone-faced. That's what I said. I said, after every game, we go and we get pizza. And I remember my dad looking at me and kind of sighing and going, okay. And I specifically remember we played 6 games, and we lost 5 of those 6 games. But we went to Godfather's. We went to Pizza Hut.
Nice. So you got to even pick the place?
No.
Oh, he picked the place.
I think it was just like
Okay.
we'd be driving home. Like these places were on University on our way home
Sure.
from Agassiz. And so I'd be like, pizza from the backseat. And, and then like what's amazing is like I would have just had a loss of playing intramural basketball, but my dad would see me step up at Pizza Hut to the Dig Dug machine with 1 quarter and clear 6 levels. And so in a way I wanted to be like, do you see me now, Dad? Do you see me now?
That's
Dad. Also, there's one kid, one of my bullies was on my intramural basketball team, and I remember him being just ruthless to me after one game, like just being a jerk. Like, and I was like,
the worst.
listen, it took all of us coming together to lose this one, And fast forward 6 years, and I'm emceeing graduation, standing in front of all my peers. I got a black eye because I was roughhousing, and looking out, and remember thinking like, that kid who was mean to me, he didn't graduate. And it felt good. And I know that you shouldn't feel good about another person's misfortune, but I'm like,
do it
maybe
all the time.
if he had found a little bit of compassion, he'd know that this is not, maybe I would have tutored him.
Yeah, dude, do you think I want to be here? Like, I don't want to be here on your team.
No, yeah. Like, I am here solely for the pizza buffet.
Yeah. I remember, that one soccer game. I still think about it. So because of that soccer game, that one game I had, I kind of empathize for characters like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, who
want to relive that glory moment.
The peak of their life was whatever, either winning the big game or losing the big game, which was Uncle Rico's. Because what I experienced that one day was just like a sliver of that, and I was high on that feeling for an entire week. I was playing soccer, and Coach Kloster. It was a Kloster or a Klosterman. I still want to find that guy. I want to find my old soccer coach. He was kind of hardcore from what I remember. He probably wasn't because I was just such a wuss. Didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be a forward because you had to run the full length of the field. And that was just exhausting. And I didn't want to be the goalie because all the pressure was on you to stop everything. If it gets in, you're going to take the blame for it because you weren't there to stop it. So defense was my favorite spot because coach would say, if you're on D, all your job, and this is to kids in elementary school, is to get to the ball and kick it as hard as you can to the other side of the field. And I was like, I can do that. That sounds like fun. Well, I couldn't even do that. I was really bad at that too, but that's okay, right? Because I had some teammates who were hyper athletic. It's wild to even think about it now. But there was one day, one game, it was a Saturday. These were almost usually Saturday morning. Every once in a while, there'd be like a weird, like a Thursday evening or something for whatever reason. I know a lot of practices would happen like Thursday evening.
Sure, yeah.
But it was a Saturday, and I'm on D, and for whatever reason, the ball could not get past me. And every time I could get to it, I cleared it to the other side, to the point that Coach Klosterman was saying, "Good job, Lucas! Great job!" It was the first time I was hearing Lucas yelled from the sideline in a positive way. Like not in a, "Lucas, move!"
Yeah.
"Lucas, move! It wasn't that hard! Stop crying!" Like all the other stuff I would usually hear. And so, yeah, I just was I was getting to it. I was clearing the ball every time. Got a high five from the coach after that. I thought, you know what, this must have been 4th grade, and I'd been doing it for at least 4 years at that point. I thought, I'm finally good at soccer.
You did it.
7 days later, I sucked again. I was clearly bad. Coach was telling us things like, hey, when you're not on your days at home, when you get off school, you should go for a run. Every one of you should go for a run. And I thought, that is the worst sounding. Why would I do that? I have a Sega Genesis. Why would I go?
Yep.
Why would I do that? Like, that's stupid. So
I'd rather play the video game I have where running is the point of the video game than what
play
you
a
got.
soccer video game.
And again, listen, I also wish that maybe I had taken a sport more seriously because we have a mutual friend who I won't out on this podcast, but I was staying at his apartment in a large city, and he had recently done a bunch of drugs. And he's like, I got so much energy. I just got to go run. And he used to play soccer. And so he takes off and he's running. I mean, like, he's just like jogging up and down the like streets of this city. And he's only wearing like gym shorts. So by the time he comes back, he's glistening, right? And he's a toned, fit man. And I was like, "How's your run?" And he was like, "It was really great. He's really great." And he goes, "I just needed to come back real quick." And I said, "Oh, what? You're gonna go back out again?" He goes like, "Yeah, I was jogging and I met this girl and we're gonna go smash." And I
know who this is.
Yeah. And I was like, I should have kept up with intramural basketball.
Yeah, but that dude never when you can climb trees like that.
Oh, no, not that one.
Oh, it's not that one.
No.
Oh.
No, but they lived together. But the guy who could climb trees, played soccer when he was a kid.
Okay.
And one thing that happened to him is he was diving to like stop a ball, and he took a foot directly to the face, and I think he ended up like cracking part of his skull. And so he showed me a bunch of pictures, like he was showing off these, because I didn't know him when he was a child, and he's showing off these like war wounds, and I was like, "Damn. You look like a little girl." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Look at your hair like that." I said, "That's adorable." Like, and he's all curled up in bed, like with his face that's all bruised up, and I'm like, like, I didn't know that your hair was like this at one point. And he's like, "Stop it." And I said, "This is cute. This is adorable." And he said, "Stop it again." And so I stole that picture and I blew it up really big so that when I went to his graduation party, I put it on display. And he got so mad, uncharacteristically mad of that moment. And I just thought, like, yeah, it's just a little thing. How long have we been talking right now?
We've been talking for almost 27 minutes.
Okay, well, our next episode is going to be about a board game, a Milton Bradley board game that you happen to find.
Yeah, I'm hitting the thrift shop still, always keeping on top of where the
big thrifting,
the VHS veins, which are not producing great amounts these days. So I keep looking around for other things to get my fix because I want to, find something. And this Jetsons board game popped out at me for $5, and I immediately thought, hey, maybe we should play this game.
You want to know something interesting about the artwork on this game? Produced in 1985, Judy Jetson, the daughter, is holding a cell phone. Now, what's interesting is what she's holding is this black box that is shaped like an iPhone, but inside of it is what essentially looks like a reel-to-reel reel. Mm-hmm. So even at that time, they're like, it's a phone, but it still uses reel-to-reel technology, but it's cordless, wireless in the future. And so, like, clearly we knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. Well,
do you know why they lived in those apartment buildings way up in the sky?
I would like to find out on the next episode of JJ Meets World.
It's because of the smog. They had to rise above. So even there's an ecological point to them. Do you want to know? That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information. Don't you dare cut me off again when I'm talking about the Jetsons, or I will kill you.